Boing. Across here. Come on. And we did it.
Oh, you did it. I'm still going.
Yay. Come on.
There we go.
Yeah. And into the vent. Wow.
What?
Oh, it took a while. It's frozen on text.
Y cuando entro en el restaurante me ve el cocinero con una paellera y adentro la vende paellera.
Mr. GamerMate had a 5-second delay. And so what was that? Why did Mr. GamerMate have a 5-second delay? He definitely did not add that in his script because that just wouldn't make sense. He wouldn't want to wait 5 seconds to say the next dialogue. So that is basically due to lag. And many people can conclude, oh, lag was the issue. Lag was the reason it happened. And yes, you are partially correct. But that is also due to how wait was created, okay, from Roblox. And wait is not a priority, if that makes sense. Wait was created so if something else was lagging, wait would be delayed so that thing could be fulfilled. Almost like the functions of promises, okay? If you don't know what the promise module is, I will link that in the description below. But anyways, I will show you guys what I mean in a script. Okay, so in service, I will call this script wait is not cool, because wait is just not cool. And then over here, we're going to start by identifying what queues are. And queues, if you don't know what queues are, they are priorities in a game. So something that is a queue has more value depending on what queue it is. And basically there's two queues. There is a primary queue and then there is a secondary queue. Okay, and the primary queue is fulfilled with stuff like game physics, because that is a priority in a game, and players, okay, player connections. And they will do as best as they can to link the connections of the players who live across the countries. Okay, so that is primary queue. That is Roblox's job. And other stuff too involves something called RunService. And RunService is a whole service used in scripts, and that involves like the chat system or the player's camera. That is a primary queue as well. Other things that are primary queue is the function wait for child, if you are wondering if that is bad. But wait for child is reliable, so I would stick to wait for child. And wait is just an attachment, so wait will not delay as well. So all of these are a priority in the game. Okay, so if these don't run, then the secondary priority will delay, or the secondary queue will be delayed until the primary is fulfilled in each frame. Okay, so the secondary queue is wait. Basically, wait itself is a secondary queue, and there are many other secondary queues. I have no idea what these secondary queues are, but I know for sure that wait is, because as we just saw, GamerMate proved that because his game had a 5-second delay, and that's just not cool. That's just not cool. Why did Roblox make it so there is a secondary queue for wait? Well, I have no idea. Wait is something that should not be in a secondary queue. It seems very important to have scripts time up with how they are, like a delayed poison. If you have a wait 0.1 seconds for poison to hit the player, you definitely want the poison to be incremented perfectly by how it should, or else if your game was lagging, it might have poison that is delayed 1 second or 2 seconds more than it should have, and that's just not cool. You want the poison to have perfect incrementations. So there's also other processes that are linked to wait, and wait is just kind of like a category. Something like spawn is the same, that uses wait. I think there is a simple wait in spawn, like wait by itself. I heard that spawn itself has a wait built into it. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you guys, but wait is involved into spawn when spawn occurs for the first time. So wait itself, if you don't know how long wait is, it's basically 0.03 seconds. Okay, That is what wait is. Okay, wait is that. And so there is a wait 0.03 seconds when a spawn is being created. And then you could put your script like local Tyrone, said blah blah blah, if you needed to make a new string. And so yeah, wait, you have to avoid wait, so this would not work. Another thing that uses wait, no doubt, is delay, the delay function. So delay 3 seconds function, and then it would create an end right there. So these two also are basically a part of wait, and all of these you should definitely avoid. Let me put wait on here. All of these are secondary queues, so you definitely should avoid them. Okay, so let's just get rid of them. And so what do we do? What if we need a wait? How do we use a wait if we can't use a wait? That doesn't make sense. What if we need a delay? What do we do? Okay, so introducing a module that handles that. First module we are going to take a look at is the CustomWait Module. Now I found this module on the dev forum, and this module is from Seth Dev. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but anyways, it is a very easy module. It involves RunService, and as we talked about, RunService is a primary priority or primary queue, and then it returns the time that we give it. So right here it says return. Every module will have a return, usually at the end of the module, and then it says the function with the time that we're going to pass to it. So yeah, we're going to just use this module. It is a very easy module for beginners. Now let's just require it. Okay, so we're going to get CustomWait equals game.replicatedStorage.CustomWait, and then we have to wrap it in a require. So we're going to put these in parentheses and require it, because that is how we require a module. Now, as you guys can see, I placed this in replicated storage. The only reason I did that was so I can access this both the client side and the local side. Because if I put this in server script service, then this can only be accessed on the server side because it's in server script service. So in order to access this from both the client and the local, I must put it in replicated storage. Okay, so now it's very easy to call it. As you can see here, it says custom wait, and then it says the given time that we want to pass it. And so we want to wait, let's wait a small number, because that's the use of this module, to wait a perfectly small executable number, and that's 0.01. Okay, so and then we have to calculate how much time that has elapsed. So we're going to use the clock, then we're going to do OS clock, and this is just going to store our time at this given point. Let's call this last clock. And so after this wait has occurred, we want to print how much time that has elapsed. Okay, so we're going to get the current time, which is OS clock, minus the last clock, or the last time. Okay, so this is going to print how much time that has elapsed. And let's just print over here, started wait. Okay, started wait, and then after 0.01 seconds, it's going to print the amount of time that has elapsed. Okay, so now, oh, and one more thing I forgot, we also have to add a wait 10 seconds. Now, I'm going to add a wait 10 seconds because the module has to first load in. Okay, as you see here, the module is first loading into the game, so that would make it so the custom wait does not work accurately for the first couple of seconds. That is the only downfall with modules. So if you want this to work correctly, it has to have inaccuracy for the first few seconds because the module is loading into the game. But once the module loads into the game, it should work smoothly. Okay, so now we are going to run the game, and let's see how great this does. So we have the custom wait, and it gives us the time 0.0167. So it wasn't too bad. It was a little bit delayed by the 6. As you can see, everything after it is the delay from 0.01. Okay, so this is the time that we got that has elapsed. That's the time for the custom wait, equals that. And now we're going to test out the normal weights. So let's put in weight 0.01 and let's see how much time that has elapsed because of the weights. After 10 seconds, because that was for the module, but we're not using the module. So after 10 seconds, we got 0.03. Now as you guys can see, that is pretty off. That is really high based off of the time that we gave it. So for the normal weight, we got 0.03. Now this could be due because of throttling, and as we said, this is a secondary queue, and because it is a secondary queue, it took a couple more decimal points, or micro decimal points. That might not seem like a big deal, but in a laggy game, this could go for bigger numbers, for like 1 second. If your game was really bad, the time would yield from 1 second maybe to 5 seconds because your game was so laggy. But because the game lagged a little bit, it was just off by a few decimal points, micro decimal points. Okay, so now we are going to try this in a while loop. Okay, so we can see this happen multiple times, and we'll see if it throttles or not. Okay, so we're gonna put this in a while true do, and then over here we're gonna do while true. Then we're gonna format it so it's nice and neat, and then we're just gonna run it. So every 0.01 seconds is gonna give us the time. And let's just remove this started print thing because we know that it's gonna start. So now let's run this and see how much time that has elapsed. So the output tab after 10 seconds, and now it is doing it, but it is not doing 0.01 as we specified. It is doing 0.03 because weight cannot go beyond that. Weight cannot go below 0.01 accurately. So it goes to 0.03, and that's just not cool. You know, we did 0.01 and we can't get 0.01. That is problematic. That's not cool. Okay? And we also got 0.06 at some points, 0.03. It's just not looking good for weight. We did not get the time that we designated, which is 0.01. Okay? Now we are going to try the custom weight with the 0.01, and let's see how accurate the queuing time is. After 10 seconds, and as you guys can see, it is not too bad. It's 0.01, 0.02, 0.01, 0.02. It is doing really efficient. It's not doing a bad job. It is off by a microdecimal, but that is bound to happen because it's such a small number. But as you guys can compare, the custom weight is slightly more accurate. Now our game is not lagging whatsoever because there's nothing in our workspace, but imagine how much damage the weight would have if our game was really laggy. And I also have another solution to this, and this is something, where is it? It is thread, okay? And thread, this is basically called thread, but it's detached because I changed it a tiny bit to make it work. But thread is another module that I found in Knit, okay? And Knit is a whole module system, a whole module library of many different modules like made, and I made a video on made if you want to check that out. And yeah, there's many other promises. That's also something you could use to replace wait because it creates callbacks that must be fulfilled. So if one function is true, the next one can continue. So that's how promises work. It's very good for neatening out and making sure that multiple threads are not running over each other. Okay, it's a good way to neaten it out as well. Okay, and so yeah, promises. You could also use coroutines, and coroutines is a whole category. It's not very difficult to learn. Coroutine.wrap is basically you also need to wrap it with parentheses in the end, the 2 parentheses to call it. And yeah, this is basically the same thing as spawn, except it doesn't delay. It doesn't use wait. It doesn't use wait. So yeah, wait is not going to be a problem for coroutines because coroutines avoid wait, which is great. So coroutines are a great way to avoid wait in small scenarios. And what else? So yeah, this is where I got the thread. I got the thread here by Stefan Leitnik, and I took it apart, and it had other modules that were attached to it, like the enum list. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to get that module to be on the thread. So I just detached that and called the modules off. So I just have the thread module by itself. So now that I detached this from init, we are going to do a couple of examples with this module. Now we're going to get the module. We can delete the CustomWait because we're done with that. We're going to put this in replicated storage. So we're going to get thread. So local thread equals require game.replicatedStorage.thread. So we have the thread, and we're going to look at all the different kinds. So we're going to have thread dot, and then we have delay, delay repeat, spawn, and then spawn now. So we're going to use delay. Delay is very simple, 3 seconds function, just as we would use delay in Roblox. This is basically the same as delay, and then function. The time, yeah, and then the function. This is the same thing, same exact thing. We're just delaying, and we're just calling the thread. And now we're just going to test how much time that has elapsed using OS clock. So last clock equals os.clock. And then we're going to do print the current time minus the last clock. And let's just do this for first the thread.delay. And like I said before, the thread has to first load in. So we have to add wait 10, sadly. That is the best thing we can do, just to make sure that the module is nicely loaded in before we actually use it. Okay? And let's see how much time that has elapsed from the spawning of it to, to print it. So after 10 seconds, it should print us the time. So we got 0.29, so 2.9. So it went a little faster than 3, and that's according to the calculations that took place inside of the module. So it went faster than 3 seconds, but that's not really a problem. We can round this up to 3 seconds. So it basically took about 3 seconds, a little less than 3 seconds because of the calculations that took place. And yeah, that's the time that we got, 2.98. Now we're going to try the delay. This is for the custom wait or custom thread. I guess we'll just call this thread for the thread. Now we're going to try the delay. So now let's simply call the delay. So the built-in delay. Delay. Oh, lowercase d. My bad. So delay with a lowercase. And let's see how much time that has elapsed. So after 10 seconds, it gave us 3. So this was really accurate. I don't think our game was lagging, so it wasn't problematic. So for the delay, it was more accurate because this one went faster than 3 seconds. So that's not cool. But if our game was lagging, this would be a much better example. But yeah, that's the time that you did. I guess delay did great because our game was not lagging. Okay. So in this point, that's delay. Let's do thread dot spawn, which is just spawn thread dot. I mean, this is the same as the spawn function, as you guys remember. Same exact setup, just doing thread dot spawn, which is the same exact thing as spawn. So as you guys see here, thread dot spawn is the same as spawn. So use thread dot spawn instead of spawn. And then we're gonna just do thread dot spawn now, which is just a faster version of spawn. Okay, so because spawn has a little delay, just the same as spawn, if you use spawn now, it should be more rapid. So this is just for dependent code that you need to run right away, and you cannot afford having a wait in front of your spawn. So yeah, these ones have a wait. This one does not have a wait involved with it, so it is very, very fast and no delay whatsoever. So now we have the spawns compared. Now we're gonna just test out the final one, which is delay repeat. Okay, so delay repeat is a whole new topic. Okay, thread.delayRepeat, and let's just look into our module. So just look at what it does. So delay repeat right here, thread.delayRepeat, and so it says here interval time and then the function. So the interval, so this is the same as a while loop, and it says here HB, and it returns the connection. Okay, so it returns the connection to the heartbeat. So we're using delay repeat. Now we're going to put our repeating number. So we want to repeat this for every 0.3 seconds. And then, yeah, this is basically a while loop. So we're just going to put this inside and do that. Okay, so delay repeat, which means it's going to delay every 0.3 seconds in a repeating loop. Okay, so this is, let's do print. Actually, how is this going to work? We can't put this inside because that wouldn't make sense. So we're going to keep this outside. Then we're going to put print the last time, the os.clock minus the last time. I guess from the time away from when it started. So it should go into increments of 0.3 if it should be accurate. Okay, so that should be 0.3, 0.6, 0.9, should be counting up from the given time of the last time. So now, and also let's compare it to its normal version. So this basically is the same as while wait 0.3, but it's just a better version of wait. So this is the same exact thing as each other. So as you can look, thread.delayRepeat is the same as while wait 0.3. So this is the same exact thing, but it's just more accurate. And let's just run this. So how much time is going to last after 10 seconds? And there you go. So it went from 0. So it happened right away, which is nice. Went to 0.3, 0.9. Okay, it went to 8. That wasn't accurate. But yeah, this is gonna go forever. And so this is not. What if we want to stop it? What if we want to break the loop? Now in a while loop, in our while loop we had before, while wait 0.3, if you want to break the loop, you would use break. But in this one, we don't have break, so what would we do? So basically, if we want to stop this while loop, basically, we want to connect this to a local variable. So we'll call this local connection equals that thread.delayRepeat. And now we want to call this connection off. So let's call this connection off. Ooh, we would not want to use wait, but I guess we'll use wait because wait is good for stuff like this. And we'll use connection disconnect. So that's how we disconnect the delay repeat loop. So this is the same thing as using break, but the only problem is we cannot use break because that wouldn't work. So we're going to use disconnect. So connection disconnect after 10 seconds. Okay, so it should stop that that thing in the output. Okay, and it's running after 10 seconds. Maybe I should have done 5 seconds, but it's alright. So after 10 seconds, ooh, it was off by 0.2. So basically it did stop. It just couldn't print out the thing, but it did stop at 10 seconds, which was perfectly accurate, as you guys can see. Basically 10 seconds. So yeah, as you guys can see, the thread is a very nice module. It is much more better than spawn and delay, and I recommend that you guys use it. This will be in the description once again. So these modules are both 2 modules, okay? And basically what I did is combine it into one module, okay? And this is just kind of like my module, except I just took the code in both and combined it in one, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So these 2 modules create this one module, and I will leave this module in the description as well. It's called SmartWait, Forgot to add examples. That's not cool. I will add examples after this video ends, but I'll do examples with you guys together. And yeah, this has the same thing as the other modules have. It's just in one, and it's very simple. Okay, it has the custom wait and the new thread calling. Okay, so let's just require this module really quickly. We'll do local SmartWait, and I just called it SmartWait. I couldn't think of a good name, so I just said, oh, SmartWait sounds pretty cool. And so we're going to acquire it, game.server-script-service.smartWait. Okay, and yeah, there's many different functions. If you guys do SmartWait dot, you can see all the functions that we have. We have delay, delay repeat, spawn, and spawn now, and wait. Okay, so spawn now is just a wicked fast way to spawn in a function if it's so prioritized. If you want to spawn something very fast, then you would use spawn now, and then you could do like print I spawned very fast. Okay, just like that. And so yeah, spawn now is a very rapid way. There's also something called spawn. You see, very simple. This is like so simple to implement in your script. Okay, this is the same thing as spawn function. Okay, as you guys can see side by side, all we're doing is just acquiring the module and just changing the whole use of spawn by using the module itself, because yeah, spawn uses wait, so we don't want to use wait. And so yeah, that's how we spawn. What else do we have in our script? We have something called delay, and yeah, delay, you could play around with delay, but delay repeat, what is that? What is delay repeat? And so we're gonna test this out together. Delay repeat basically is just repeating every second the time that we put in. So let's say oops, we did this wrong. Let's say we want to wait 1 second every time we want to print Bobby. Okay, so this is basically gonna repeat every 1 second, okay, Bobby, in this repeat loop. This is a repeat loop basically. This is basically the same as while wait 1 do print Bobby. This is the same thing. Okay, and yeah, we can, what if we want to stop it? What if we want to break it? But we don't have break. We can't use break here, or else it would error. You see, it would error, so we can't use break. So how do we stop this delay repeat, or else this is gonna wait 1 second forever? Okay, so if we want to call this repeat loop off, then we would want to use to connect this to a connection. So local connection equals SmartWait.DelayRepeat. So we just connect it to a connection. Okay, actually I heard that this is bad, so you have to separate the connection above. I don't know why. I just heard that it somehow is bad for your system, and I'll trust people who know their stuff. So local connection above, and then connection equals this. Okay, and then we're just gonna call the connection, and you can see here connection is a function. Okay, so that's why the 2 parentheses added, and so this is gonna turn it off. Okay, I was gonna use wait. Let's use SmartWait.wait, and that's just the custom wait. We'll wait 5 seconds. Okay, so after 5 seconds, we're gonna call the connection off, and this delay repeat is gonna stop. So it's gonna count 5 times, and then it's gonna stop. But remember what I said above, modules have a delay time when loading in, so we have to actually use wait, just because the module has to load in first in the game. Sadly, that's the only downfall with modules. I wouldn't say that the wait itself is bad, to be honest. Wait does have its downfalls, as we just compared. And laggy games, it will yield longer than it should, and that's just not cool. But because it is a second queue, it is not too bad to use big numbers. So if we use wait 10, it's most doubtedly going to catch up to the primary queue, so this is not going to be problematic. But because wait is a secondary, something like a small number would not work well with it. So I would not recommend using wait with small numbers, but definitely if you have a wait 30, it shouldn't be problematic. Okay, And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you don't want to use the thread module, you could always invest your time with coroutines, but I think the thread module is just more neater, and you actually have a delay repeat, which is very nice. If you don't want to use the while custom wait thing, you could use delay repeat, which is the same exact concept, and they both work pretty well. While custom wait is the same as delay repeat. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I want to say. I definitely recommend that you guys try out all of these things. Okay, and yeah, definitely read it on the dev forum. I just wanted to quickly talk about this because this is important for dependent code that wants to have perfect incremented times. And yeah, that's the problem with wait. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I want to say. Thanks to GamerMate for having a great example on this topic. I hope I didn't offend GamerMate. Definitely check out his game. What's this game called again? I think it was called like Playhouse or something like that. I forgot your name, your game, bro. I'm sorry, GamerMate. Alright, and yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Yeah, definitely like and subscribe for more content like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.